The Pioneers 1-1 last week with an off week. Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Staten, joined by Pioneer coach J.T. Burton. This is the Pioneer Basketball Show with Coach Burton, a Pioneer team that does go 1-1 last week, but then had the Saturday off, so they get their bye. Took the Saturday off as well. We're going to go back and revisit, though. Coker, always one of your funnest trips to go on because I think you get the chance to get the guys out of here. You go hang out. You know, it's a long trip. You do work on some schoolwork probably just a little bit, but there's more opportunities for you guys to bond, get together, and probably revisit some of the things that you don't do as well. And then against Coker, it's a very athletic team that shoots the ball very well. And we showed just a little bit, we flexed our muscle a little bit defensively. I thought we played as sound a game against Coker as we have all year.
Yeah, I thought we did too. I mean, I thought we got back to our shooting ways, if that makes any sense. I mean, you started making shots. We played decently well the first half, but the second half, we really shot the ball well. But I thought we'd done a pretty good job of adjusting to what they was trying to do because they came out trying to slow the tempo down.
Yeah.
And we was in man-to-man, so then we went back to the zone. We pressed them a little bit and turned them over, and we was able to get points off those turnovers, so to help.
Justin Mitchell, I think, went 5 for 5, and he got things started off the right way. But then Coker just kind of slowed it down, got back into it, took a lead. Pioneers go into the half up 2. I think it's interesting about that. At that particular time, 14 games played, 12 of them have been at halftime less than a possession. So a possession or less. So it's whether it's 3 points, 2 points, or a 1-point lead or deficit for the Pioneers. That's what it was. So it's always been that way at the half. So I've learned I don't get too worked up over the first half. I don't know if you do. I don't. But the second half, you guys really shot well. I think it was 55% in the second half and really kind of flexed your muscle offensively.
Yeah, I thought we did. You know, we did a really good job of going inside and then playing inside out. We made some threes, was able to get to the basket. The biggest thing is defensively is where I was really happy with these guys because we kind of stepped up. We stepped up the pressure. We did what we were supposed to do, especially going on the road because that's a hard place to play.
Yeah.
And Coker, we did a really good job, especially our reserves. We took Trenton Gibson out. That's the longest he's probably sat in 3 years. Sat in 3 years. So when he sat out, we actually, we gained a little momentum and we kept it.
It was first 5 minutes. We talked about that afterwards. And, of course, that starting group was out there for 5. It was their defense. We didn't finish everything, but we really turned them over and really sped them up. And then we got into their legs a little bit, I think, from that.
Yeah, they was a little short benched, and we did a really good job. Like I said, the pressure kind of, we kept, they was trying to slow it down, so we sped them up a lot, and we did a really good job in the half court of taking some of the things away what they wanted to do. And the biggest thing is defending and rebounding. That's what we preach, and I thought we did a really good job of it.
Yeah, after that 5 minutes, I think Trent kind of went to the bench about 8 minutes into that second half. They come in, we go on this little bit of a run. I believe it was like about a 10-2 run, and a lot of it was Brandon Mitchell. And again, he picked up his 4th double-double of the season. And when he's doing that, we're going to be really hard to beat.
Brandon's been playing really, really well. If he can stay out of foul trouble, that kid right there, not only is a defensive presence, but he's becoming an offensive presence as well. And when Brandon's averaging a double-double like he has been in the last, 4 or 5 games, I think he's one of the biggest reasons why we won 6 out of the last 7. So, Brandon Mitchell that game did a really good job on both ends of the court.
And Trenton scored 16. It wasn't a 20-point game that we've been so accustomed to, but he wasn't on the floor as much either. And I said especially early, but down the stretch he was. So you did outscore him 43-28 in the second half, shot 55%. So I had the opportunity to rest him, but also that energy group that came in the second half really gave you that energy that you could afford to rest him.
Yes, it was really good for us. I mean, I thought Will Vetter did a really good job coming off the bench. I mean, along with Anadi Legist, Kobe Funderburg kind of gave us some really good minutes. Those guys came in and kind of energized us. Jalen Crowder did as well. Mm-hmm. And so when you could have, we're pretty deep this year, and you was able to rest them, and the way to only give up 28 points in a half, especially in the second half, is really good. So I was really impressed.
Pioneers get that victory, 74-57. They do shoot 48% for the game. They hold Coker to 44%, but they were, again, lights out in the first half. Shooting the basketball, Janor Snell was really big in that first half. Williams Onioti finishing with a game-high 22 points in the contest. But the Pioneers get their 6th straight win. They go to 11-4, and more importantly, they stay in a tie for first in the South Atlantic Conference. And that was big because Queens and LMU had decided to play after a couple of teams had COVID. Wise, along with Mars Hill, they couldn't play their games. So Queens says, hey, we'll come play you in Harrogate, and they did, and LMU was able to get a victory in a very tough environment, and I guess a really strong game. And you would think that on late notice that they probably wouldn't have that type. I went back and watched some of the highlights of it. The amount of fans that they had in the gym was quite amazing. But that brought Queens to us then the very next day, and I think for them the challenge was on for them. You know, a lot of teams say, "Hey, we lose, we got to step up. We're going to be challenged. We're going to have to answer that challenge." And I think for them early it was that way. And I think when we go into the game, our mindset is we're happy to be here, right? We're happy to be in a situation where we're in first place because this hasn't always been the way it was. It's nice. I kind of like that feeling, kind of like that idea of we're going up against one of the best teams in the nation. We've already beaten them this year. They've got to bring it this year. And I think that's a great feeling.
Yeah, I mean, going in, we knew that we had talked about it. I mean, these guys now, like I said, the social media world, we've been here for what's going into my 4th year here. And when we came here, like I said, this is what we work for. So when you get this opportunity, you gotta make the best of it. And I thought the guys did a really good job of answering the bell because, you know, normally I've seen times where Queens come in here and just beat us like a drum, but we did a really good job of adjusting. It was an unbelievable game, and I knew because some of the things that happened, like Queens came the night before, bus broke down on the mountain. They had to stay in Asheville. I mean, so many things just happened. They had just played a tough game at LMU. You knew they was going to be hungry because everybody's looking at that top standing. So with that being said, I knew coming in it was going to be a war, and that's what it was.
It deserved national TV recognition. That's probably as good as it was, you know,
Yes.
as far as the matchup was concerned. We'll let you kind of revisit some of it. Let's take a look at the highlights while we talk about it, you know, just a little bit. Tusculum versus nationally ranked Queens. Tusculum doesn't have the greatest record against nationally ranked opponents, but the last time Queens was nationally ranked was back in December. The Royals were ranked number 4 in the country, and it would be the best defeat for the Pioneers. I mean, you know, that was the highest ranked opponent that they had won. We had great energy starting out. Brandon Mitchell, you know, that rejection, the all-time leading shot blocker in school history, was a volleyball spike, let's just be honest. And I thought you guys had great energy, but then they were able to match it. They matched your energy.
Yeah, we came out, we started off really well. As you see the lob right there from KJ Crump to Jacob Hobbs. We knew they was going to come back, you know, and take we punched them. We knew they was going to come right back. We made some shots. It was back and forth, but, you know, with a team like that, they got, you know, the guards that they got so many guys returning. They're pretty old. We knew coming in, we had to take the first punch, but we knew that we had to maintain it and sustain it. But over the course of the game, it was an unbelievable game, but we came up a little short.
Two guys that stuck out to me. One was James West. The other was Jalen Crowder. I just thought that those two guys made shots. You know, James, maybe a slow start, but definitely made shots.
Yes, I mean, you know, Jalen Crowder, as you see, he was 5 for 11. He's a valuable shooter, but if he makes one and gets his feet set, he's going to make that. He's going to make a lot. He's shooting pretty good. His percentages don't say it, along with James West. Yeah. I mean, we're just waiting. The kid's got an injury, and that's why I told him he's got to be patient, keep working at it. He's in the gym right now as we speak, and he was in the gym right after the game. So that's why I don't really worry about that type thing with him. But it was good to see him get it going again.
Justin Mitchell provides so much energy. You know, from midcourt, you know it's going to go in, and he's going to go to the rim and he's going to attack. Really change the momentum for us offensively.
Justin is our best defender. He guards every team best player, and as you see, he's gotten better on the offensive end as well. So that's made him a really complete player, and he changes the game for us, especially on the defensive end.
The threes that are going in here late in this contest, again, this is the double clutch by Crowder. When that was going, then you knew something was right, you know, because whether it's Hobbs or whether it's Crowder or whether it's West, if you're double clutching anything and it's going in, you know that right now you're in a pretty good offensive rhythm. All right, we do go overtime, and I think the most difficult thing was, and again, forgive me, whistles. And I think for some of the whistles that either did or did not happen and how they happened, where they did in a situation in a game that was up and down, I think that was the other thing. it was tiring for me to watch, and I know it was tiring for those guys to play.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it took a lot out of them. I mean, but good thing about it, like I told Trent during the game, and that might have been a mistake by me. I said, you know what, we got a week off. You're not coming out of this game. And so, but it was an unbelievable game. The atmosphere was there. It was unbelievable. It was one of the best games I've ever been involved in as a coach. It's most definitely being here at Tusculum University. It's the best game I've been involved in. For us to be in the same rings and going toe-to-toe with a perennial powerhouse in the SAC like we did the other night, and some people was expecting us to win along with us.
Yeah.
It's been unbelievable. So that means, that means this culture is changing, and we're trending in the right direction. It's just that, me as a head coach, I wish we could have won that game.
All right, so for Queens, Kenny Dye. A floor general, a point guard, a guy that's going to go after and get you a bucket. He wouldn't let him lose. Once it seems as if Tusculum had some momentum, Kenny would go down and make something. They did make some threes. They did probably some uncharacteristic threes. McClooney made like 3 of them in 2 back-to-back, and he shoots under 30% from 3 on the year. Great shooter, but he knocked him down, and I think that really opened up Kenny Dye a little bit.
Yeah, I thought we put Jacob Hobbs on to try to bother him with some length, and I thought it did through the latter part of the game. But late, I thought it got in his legs late because he got a little tired because he missed some free throws. But he made key baskets or he made key passes, and that gave everybody else confidence on their team. I mean, those shots that Clooney hit, there was contested threes.
Yeah.
I mean, heavily contested. They just made them. So, Dye is really special. I mean, that kid right there did a really good job. I thought Hobbs did a good job of containing, but late in the game, he got to the basket, made some tough twos. But, if we could do that, we'll live with that as long as we continue to play that.
Listen, in regulation, it was Hobbs that got a huge rejection. I actually got 2 blocks on him late in the contest and really preserved that overtime finish for us to get into overtime. And then it was just a matter of we didn't knock down that one shot. You saw the highlights. We saw a bunch of shots that were made in the game, but there was some really key moments that we just didn't get some shots knocked down. It's interesting. We scored 85 points and only shot 37% in the game.
Yeah, it was a war. And, I know everybody wants to talk about the whistle, but like I told you guys, you can't put yourself in a position because if a ball bounces one way or bounces the other way, our way, it's great because if you go back to that game we beat them at their place, it was they made a call. The ref made a call. It was questionable at half court when it could have went both ways, but it went our way. And Trent Gibson was able to, take the game from a 2-point game to a 4-point game because he made the 2 free throws. So, I told the guys, is this unfortunate? You can't. The only thing is we got to do better defensively as far as fouling because I think they shot 15 more free throws than us, something around that ballpark. So you got to clean it up on the defensive end. But other than that, I thought we played really well. I thought we bought the energy. And how about the students? The students showed up. And that was incredible. So it kind of helped us, and I really appreciate them.
I think that's the atmosphere that, we've been lacking here over the last month. It's just such a long break here at Christmas. And then, hopefully having this homestand to wrap things up and to have that type of atmosphere, going to need it because every game being key. A Queens team that uncharacteristically we were out-rebounded in the game. Now, they're large. They're athletic and tall and can go get it and get after it. But we've always done a really good job in the rebound aspect of it. They came in number 1 in the conference in offensive boards, which is that's been Tusculum's thing, of late. You did get that, but overall they were able to secure just the defensive boards in the contest.
Yeah, I thought they did. When we played them down there, one of the things they did a really good. We done a job down there is keeping them when they got the boards. We didn't let them score. Yeah. This time we got the offensive boards, but we really didn't score off the second chance points. So I knew it was going to be a battle. I mean, you're talking about 2 heavyweights. I mean, we got post players that play really hard. Both of us play inside out, and we knew that the rebound and the physical nature of the game was going to be huge, and I thought we matched that. And if you haven't seen the game, go back and watch a replay because it was a good one to watch. Yeah,
there's no question. I mean, it was as exciting, as frustrating, and as exhilarating a game as I think that there could have been in a contest to decide first place in the league, and we're still just in January. So there's a lot of great basketball still to be played. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. But it does end a 6-game winning streak for the Pioneers. Trenton Gibson, nearly a triple-double. He saw some of those triple-double type numbers that started appearing, but did have 16 points. Jacob Hobbs, with his first double-double, he had 12 points, 12 rebounds in the game. and was just a factor defensively. And Jalen Crowder, to see what he was able to do and accomplish a career best for him as well, knocking down three-pointers and doing the things to get us back into the game, but knocking down open shots. Great atmosphere, just a great game. Unfortunately, somebody had to lose, and it was the Pioneers. Queens, that allowed them to kind of stay, in the conversation there in the top three in this league, and it's kind of becoming that way. You got Carson Newman and Wingate that are just on the outside looking in, and any slip up, you're in trouble. You could go from first all the way down to fifth in this league. So that's what makes this week very big, right? A Pioneer team that will take on Anderson, dangerous, and Lenore-Ryan, dangerous. And both of those games at home. Let's start with Anderson. We haven't seen them. This is the first time we'll see Anderson this year.
Anderson is really, really talented. I mean, they play a lot of ISO ball, but they are really, really talented. They got several guys returning. They got a young freshman that's really good. We've dove into them already. I mean, we're going to have our work cut out for us. I mean, we got to come in. Like I told the guys in the meeting yesterday, if we defend and rebound with that intensity we did against Queens, I put us against anybody. We can't, making shots, I tell them, these guys have made shots their entire lives. They've been playing basketball their whole lives. But defending and rebounding is where it's at. And now when we come Wednesday against Anderson, we're going to have to do both those things.
So LMU at 14-3, Queens 13-3, the Pioneers 12-4, Carson Newman 11-5. Just to kind of give you an idea as to, what this league is and the way it's going right now. Anderson has had those games where they've been in every single game.
Yes.
And it's not like it's just Anderson. Last year, it took a career best out of Anadi Legist in a hugely emotional game for him as well in order for the Pioneers to get one of those wins on the road against Anderson. You got LR. It's a guy that you respect in the league, and Everett Sullivan. And, he's rebuilding a little bit this year, but this is a talented, a young group that he's had, and that's the issue. He'll keep these guys together and keep them strong, and they'll be a force. And they're doing that already this year as a young group. Yeah,
they've dropped a few, but like I tell the guys, you can't go overlook teams like that, because in this league, the record doesn't matter. I mean, Everett Sullivan I respect that guy very much, and he'll get them rolling. When they come in here on Saturday, they're going to be ready to go. It's going to be like 0-0. So, it don't matter. We got to be ready to go. But we got Anderson coming up first. We got to take it one game at a time, but you can't overlook neither one of those teams.
It's interesting. Lenore-Ryan 8-6, in our league. See that they're firmly in and as a top 6 right now in this league. It's a group that shoots the ball pretty good. Especially from three-point territory. The Pioneers have to be sound defensively from there in our first matchup that we did win back in December. Tough place to play down in Hickory. See if the Pioneers can wrap it up here this week at home. It has to be key. What are some of the things that right now that, you took the time off the Saturday, probably not good, probably didn't want to have that time off, especially after a loss. What does this team need to do? What did you see from this team, and how hungry are they right now to finish this thing off?
After we lost that game, I have several guys text me individually, and it was kind of surprising. It was shocking, to be honest, but they was like, Coach, they was apologetic, because when we lose, it's my fault. When we win, it's all their deal with my assistant. So, and I told him it after the game, but, on that, after about Thursday or Friday, those guys texted me, and they was like, Coach, we apologize, but we're going to go to work. Like, we got a different mentality. And you could tell it in the individuals while ago. There was no playing around. And I'm not lying. Like, it was no joke around. Them guys came in there, and they got, went right to work. So we'll see. I tell them, like, don't text me and tell me, show me. Yeah. And but I think these guys, they show some resiliency over in the past, and we'll bounce back, and we're going to see, because today practice, it's going to be a tough one. So it's time to get back at it.
Pioneers, Anderson, Lenore-Ryan this week, again in the top 3 in the South Atlantic Conference, and topsy-turvy. It's difficult right now to figure it out. Just get wins, because some teams haven't played some games. You're going to be making them up. There's going to be a bunch of that's going to be going on, so you don't have to pay attention to the standings right now. Just get wins, and especially here at home this week as the Pioneers wrap up this homestand in the month of January. As always, thanks.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
He's Pioneer coach J.T. Burton. For everybody behind the scenes here at the Pioneer Sports Network, Dom Donnelly, Jim Miller, Jessica Biggers, I'm Brian Staten. The Pioneers take on the Lenore-Ryan Bears. We'll tip it off 7:30 Wednesday of this week, and then on Saturday, a 4 o'clock tip-off with the Lenore-Ryan Bears. Anderson Wednesday, Lenore-Ryan on Saturday. I'm Brian Staten. Until next week, go Pioneers.